We invite you to watch how we clear the views on all matters through our partner station MITV on DSTV channel 255, 7 p.m. daily, and also our YouTube and Facebook pages under one name, Clearview News Desk every day. We call it The People's News, as we are available to come over and cover your events upon notice. Or do you have news you want us to broadcast? Send it in. We verify and go to town with it. All for you. Go ahead, engage us to thrash out those naughty issues on the news. And what we need from you is to share and subscribe. More important, convince your loved ones, friends, relatives, co-worshippers, and more to subscribe so as to be getting notifications as we break the news. Go a step further, like the news, and drop your thoughts on the comment section. Clearview News. We clear the view one time and for all time.
Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Tinubu vows to fight tooth and nail to stop Chinese investors from seizing Nigeria's presidential jets in France. Despite poor 2024 Paris Olympics outing, Nigeria's Super Falcons retains 36th position in latest FIFA ranking. Argentina's former president Alberto Fernandez has been charged for domestic abuse. I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. As Nigerians continue to react to the seized presidential jets by a French court, President Bola Tinubu's government has vowed to fight tooth and nail to stop Chinese investors from further action. While reacting on the issue, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, argued that the aircraft on the presidential fleet are sovereign assets used solely for sovereign purposes and are therefore immune from attachment by any entity. He said this followed an interim attachment of 3 presidential aircraft undergoing routine maintenance in France, made pursuant to ex parte orders issued by the Judicial Court of Paris. The actions by France, it would be recalled, was on account of alleged debt owed it by the Nigerian government. Meanwhile, the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice are currently weighing both diplomatic and legal means. They have set in motion both legal and diplomatic steps to ensure the discharge of the inappropriate orders against the aircraft, which are covered by sovereign immunity. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has confirmed 39 new cases of Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, across 33 states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) since the start of 2024. This update was shared by NCDC Director General Dr. Jide Idris during a press conference. The recent surge has prompted the NCDC to place 6 states on high alert, including Bayelsa, Cross River, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, and Ebonyi, which account for the majority of the new cases. The NCDC is intensifying efforts to contain the outbreak, including increased surveillance, public health education, and the coordination of response strategies with local health authorities.
Vaccine for Mpox, very few countries are manufacturing this. Some of them are just being, like I did say, the Johnny's one that is just been approved for emergency use. Surveillance is being intensified. Lucky, like I did say, we've only recorded 39 cases this year, 0 deaths. So in terms of fatality, it doesn't mean that that's what will kill them will be superimposed infections. And if the wounds are not treated. That's why, again, it's good to have these countermeasures. Let me say that it's the experience of the 2022 outbreak, where we recorded quite a large number of cases. And since then, again, surveillance activities have been up. And that's why, again, with our address, again, we are recording less cases.
Despite the rise in cases, there have been no reported deaths in Nigeria from the current outbreak. This surge in Nigeria is part of a broader trend in Africa, where the Africa Center for Disease Control recently declared a public health emergency. The continent has seen nearly 2,863 confirmed mpox cases and 517 deaths across 13 countries in 2024, with the Democratic Republic of the Congo being particularly hard hit. As Nigeria deals with this outbreak, the NCDC is also preparing for the rollout of 10,000 doses of the naijanews vaccine, which is expected to arrive soon. The vaccine will be prioritized for high-risk groups to help curb the spread of the virus. And now to politics. As the clock ticks ahead of the September 21 off-season governorship election in Edo State, a civil society group, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, and the coalition of INEC-accredited observer organizations have called on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and security agencies to ensure neutrality in the polls in the interest of fairness, transparency, accountability, and sustenance of democracy in the state. Addressing a joint news conference this Friday in Abuja, Director General of the group, Dr. Nwambu Gabriel, stressed on the need for all hands to be on deck to avoid any form of sabotage to the electoral process.
First and foremost, we emphasize the importance of impartiality and neutrality from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). It is crucial that all eligible electorates, including those who registered during the continuous voters registration (CVR) exercise, are issued with the permanent voters card promptly. INEC's commitment to fairness and transparency in the electoral process is fundamental requirement for the success of the election on the 21st of September 2024. We call on the law enforcement agencies, including the police, the DSS, the NSCDC, and the military, to refrain from harassing law-abiding Nigerians who carry out legitimate election duties in Edo State, including electorates and members of all registered political parties in Nigeria, irrespective of whether they are opposition political parties or the ruling party. Disturbingly, we have become aware of some plans by some disgruntled individuals to use security agencies to manipulate and rig the elections. This is unacceptable, and we call on all relevant authorities to investigate, arrest, and prosecute the intending perpetrators of such crimes.
Speaking on issues such as voter inducement and harassment, which have become a common feature in the nation's electioneering processes, the group declared zero tolerance while calling for open prosecution of offenders to mitigate the trend among voters.
As a coalition of rights organizations, we remain firm to ensuring that things are done right to reflect the wishes of Edo electorates in the coming election. To ensure a smooth electoral process, we call on the network service providers to ensure an uninterrupted service in Edo State throughout the duration of the election. They must refrain from any form of sabotage that could hinder the effectiveness and proper functioning of the Vows, which is an Android technology deployed by INEC for the authentication and accreditation of eligible voters in Edo State.
Edo State indigenes, they are very, very disciplined and committed to successful, credible electoral process, and political class must ensure that they allow them to perform their civic right by casting their vote for the candidate of their choice.
The group also appealed to all stakeholders to abide by the provisions of the 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022 to ensure a free, fair and credible election in Edo State. Away from politics, Nigeria's senior women's football team, the Super Falcons, have retained their 36th position in the latest global ranking by the Federation Internationale de Football Association. The Falcons also maintain their position as the top-ranked women's football team in Africa, according to the ranking released on Friday, 16th August 2024. This ranking follows their disappointing performance at the recently concluded Women's Summer Olympics football event in Paris, France. The Falcons failed to progress to the quarterfinals after suffering 3 consecutive defeats, losing 1-0 to Brazil and Spain and a heavy 3-1 defeat to Japan, finishing at the bottom of Group C. Following Nigeria in the African rankings are South Africa 50th, Morocco 59th, Zambia 62nd, and Ghana 66th. Meanwhile, the top 10 women's football teams in the world, according to the latest FIFA rankings, are United States of America, England, Spain, Germany, Sweden, Canada, Japan, Brazil, Korea DPR, and France. Still in sports, Manchester United kick off the 2024/2025 Premier League season at home to Fulham this Friday before Manchester City begin the defense of their title at free-spending Chelsea on Sunday. New Liverpool manager Arne Slot will be under the spotlight on Saturday with a trip to newly promoted Ipswich for his first competitive game since succeeding Jurgen Klopp. This season promises to be an exciting one as 20 teams battle for the most coveted trophy in England, while football fans can't wait to watch their favorite team in action and throw banters. Now, away from sports, 3 drug kingpins and 16 other offenders have been convicted and sentenced to a total of 302 years in prison for trafficking and dealing in illicit drugs. The drugs they were accused of trafficking are cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, cannabis and opioids, among others. Spokesperson of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Femi Babafemi, in a statement on Friday, said the 19 convicts led the list of 414 drug traffickers and dealers convicted by the Federal High Court across Benue, Bauchi, Edo, Lagos, Ogun, Gombe and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, between July 1st and 31st, 2024, following charges brought against them by the NDLEA. If you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We will be back after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. And on the foreign scene, former President Alberto Fernandez of Argentina has been accused of beating his partner, Fabiola Yanez, who served as First Lady during his single term in office between 2019 and 2023. Ms. Yanez on Tuesday filed a suit against the former president, saying she was subjected to physical and psychological abuse during the course of their partnership, particularly in the Quinta de Olivos presidential residence. According to the charges, Ms. Yanez, 43, said Mr. Fernandez, 65, often struck her across the cheek, pummeled her face, leaving her with a black eye, and kicked her in the stomach. She filed the complaint after 2 pictures of her bruises and black eye got leaked on social media. Yanez in the suit also claimed that she underwent an illegal abortion procedure against her will in 2016, a time when abortion was still outlawed in Argentina. She also said Mr. Fernandez monitored and restricted her movement. Ramiro Gonzalez, a prosecutor on the matter, charged Fernandez with minor and serious injuries, double aggravated and coercive threats. Meanwhile, the president denied the allegations, asserting he had evidence to defend himself in court. And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. As Nigerians continue to react on the seized presidential jets by a French court, President Bola Tinubu's government has vowed to fight tooth and nail to stop Chinese investors from further action. Nigeria's senior women's football team, the Super Falcons, have retained their 36th position in the latest global ranking by the Federation Internationale de Football Association. We also told you that former president of Argentina, Alberto Fernandez, has been accused of beating his partner, Fabiola Yanez, who served as First Lady during his single term in office between 2019 and 2023. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.